The desolate moonscape stretched endlessly, a canvas of grays and blacks punctuated by jagged rock formations and intermittent geological sensors. Ryder Callahan adjusted the thermal settings on his exosuit, scanning the horizon with practiced precision. Another routine reconnaissance mission for the Frontier Exploration Corps, or so he thought. Ryder had seen his share of lonely outposts and forgotten research stations, but something about Gamma 7 felt different. The research base appeared abandoned, its solar panels crusted with moon dust, communication arrays bent at unnatural angles. Yet, his advanced sensor suite detected faint energy signatures. Something was alive here. His gloved hand hovered near the plasma rifle secured to his tactical harness. 20 years of scouting had taught him that abandoned rarely meant truly empty in the vast, unpredictable frontier of human expansion. A sudden movement caught his eye. A fleeting shadow darted between two collapsed research modules. Not a trick of light, but something deliberately concealed. Ryder's combat training kicked in, his movements fluid and controlled as he approached. "Identify yourself," he called, his voice amplified through the suit's external speakers. No response. The research station's main airlock hung partially open, its emergency seals compromised. Ryder switched to infrared, detecting a heat signature, distinctly non-human, huddled within the complex's central laboratory. As he entered, the laboratory revealed signs of hasty evacuation. Data terminals flickered with incomplete download sequences. Scattered research notes lay scattered, some burned, others encrypted beyond immediate comprehension. And there, crouched behind an overturned molecular analyzer, was a figure that made Ryder freeze. She was unlike any being he'd encountered. Slender but muscular, with skin that seemed to shift between translucent blue and silvery gray. Her eyes, large, almond-shaped, and a deep iridescent purple, locked onto him with an intensity that suggested both intelligence and desperation. "I mean no harm," Ryder said, slowly lowering his weapon. "I'm Ryder Callahan, Frontier Exploration Corps." The alien female, for she was unmistakably female in her physiological structure, remained motionless. A complex network of bioluminescent patterns rippled across her skin, a form of communication or emotional response Ryder couldn't immediately interpret. "Zarakovi," she finally responded, her voice a melodic blend of frequencies that seemed to resonate within his suit's communication systems. "Xenobiological researcher. Currently, unemployed." The term unemployed seemed an understatement. Her appearance suggested she was running from something far more significant than a simple job loss. "This station was your research base?" Ryder inquired, maintaining a neutral tone. Zara's skin patterns shifted to a deep, turbulent crimson. "Was. No longer." Something in her tone suggested a story far more complex than a simple abandonment. Ryder had encountered countless alien species during his missions, but this encounter felt different. Zarakovi was not just surviving, she was hiding. "Your research," he prompted, gesturing to the scattered data terminals. A moment of hesitation. Then, a calculated risk. Zara activated a holographic display, revealing complex molecular structures and quantum entanglement diagrams that made even Ryder's extensively trained mind struggle to comprehend. "Quantum resonance communication," she explained. "A method of instantaneous information transfer across astronomical distances. My people believed it could revolutionize interstellar communication." Believed? Ryder caught the past tense immediately. Zara's skin flickered, a pattern of blue and gray that suggested both pride and profound loss. "Some discoveries are deemed dangerous. Especially by those who fear change." Before Ryder could inquire further, a distant alarm triggered. External sensors detected approaching vessels, and they were not part of any standard exploration fleet. Their unexpected encounter was about to become significantly more complicated. The approaching vessels cast long shadows across the moon's desolate surface. Ryder's years of experience told him these were not standard exploration craft, their silhouettes were too angular, their energy signatures too volatile. "We need to move," he said, his voice cutting through the tense silence of the abandoned research station. Zara's bioluminescent skin patterns shifted rapidly, a kaleidoscope of blues and grays that Ryder was beginning to recognize as a form of emotional communication. "They found me," she whispered, a mix of resignation and defiance threading through her words. Ryder quickly assessed their options. The research station offered minimal cover, and the approaching vessels would soon have them cornered. He activated his suit's emergency communication protocols, knowing full well the risks of sending out a signal. "Who are they?" he asked, securing the nearby research terminals into a compact data storage unit. Zara's response was measured. "The Quantum Suppression Council. They don't tolerate scientific breakthroughs that challenge their control." The first impacts of precision landing thrusters began to shake the station's already fragile infrastructure. Ryder grabbed Zara's arm, pulling her towards a secondary exit, a maintenance tunnel he'd spotted during his initial reconnaissance. "Move," he commanded, his tone brooking no argument. As they navigated the narrow passage, Zara began to explain. Her research into quantum resonance communication threatened the established interstellar communication networks. Governments and corporate entities that controlled information flow saw her work as a potential revolution. "My people," Zara said, her skin flickering with a pattern Ryder now recognized as a form of emotional vulnerability, "we believe in the free exchange of knowledge. But not everyone sees it that way." The tunnel opened into a small cavern system, a geological feature that would provide temporary cover from the incoming vessels. Ryder's suit sensors worked overtime, mapping escape routes and potential defensive positions. "You're not just a researcher," Ryder observed, noting the calculated precision of her movements. "You're something more." Zara's laugh was sharp, tinged with a hint of bitterness. "Exile requires more than academic knowledge. Survival is its own form of research." A distant explosion rocked the cavern. The Quantum Suppression Council was methodically dismantling the research station, leaving no trace of Zara's work, or her existence. Ryder accessed his suit's communication array, sending an encrypted burst transmission. It was a risky move, but he had contacts who might provide assistance. The Frontier Exploration Corps wasn't officially a rescue organization, but they had a reputation for protecting scientific discovery. "We need a plan," he said, pulling up a holographic map of the moon's surface. "They won't stop until they find you." Zara's skin patterns settled into a complex design, part determination, part strategic calculation. "Then we'll need to be one step ahead." As if in response to her words, a distant communication crackled through Ryder's suit systems. Encrypted. Partially scrambled. But definitely a response to his transmission. The game had changed. What started as a routine reconnaissance had become something far more dangerous, and far more important. Their survival now depended on unraveling the secrets hidden within Zara's research, and staying one step ahead of those who wanted to suppress it at all costs. The aftermath of the research hub battle left an eerie silence. Disabled tactical units lay scattered among fractured holographic displays, their advanced systems rendered useless by Zara's quantum interference. Ryder moved methodically, securing the perimeter and assessing their damage. "That was impossible," he muttered, examining the sophisticated combat units now reduced to inert metal and circuitry. Zara's bioluminescent skin pulsed with a complex pattern of silver and deep emerald, satisfaction mixed with an underlying current of exhaustion. Not impossible. Just beyond their current understanding. Their temporary victory was short-lived. The communication intercepts Ryder had captured revealed a broader, more sinister plot. The Quantum Suppression Council was more than just a regulatory body, they were gatekeepers of technological evolution, ruthlessly eliminating any threat to their control. "We need allies," Ryder said, pulling up a holographic map of potential safe zones. "The Frontier Exploration Corps won't officially intervene, but I know some independent operators who might be interested." Zara's skin shifted to a contemplative blue. Your people fascinate me. Always walking the line between preservation and exploration. Their next destination was a deep space trading station, Nexus Point 9, a lawless hub where information was as valuable a currency as credits. Hidden among independent traders, mercenaries, and scientific outcasts, they might find the support they needed. The journey itself became a testament to their growing partnership. Ryder's tactical expertise complemented Zara's scientific brilliance. They modified his exosuit with quantum resonance shielding, creating a mobile protection system that could potentially disrupt any tracking attempts. As they approached Nexus Point 9, the station's massive silhouette emerged against the star-speckled backdrop. A perfect blend of industrial functionality and desperate survival, humanity's frontier spirit made manifest. Remember, Ryder cautioned as they prepared to dock, trust is a rare commodity here. We reveal only what's necessary. Nexus Point 9 was a labyrinth of interconnected modules, each section a potential sanctuary or death trap. They moved carefully, Zara's adaptive camouflage technology helping them blend with the station's diverse population. Their first contact was Kieran Reeves, an information broker with a reputation for selling secrets to the highest bidder, and occasionally helping those fighting against systemic oppression. The Quantum Suppression Council wants you bad, Kieran said, sliding a data chip across a holographic table. Your research could destabilize entire communication networks. That's worth more than most governments' annual budgets. Zara's response was calm, her skin displaying a pattern of strategic determination. Information should be free. Not controlled. A sudden alert interrupted their conversation. Multiple tracking signatures converged on their location. The Quantum Suppression Council had found them. We've got incoming, Ryder said, already preparing defensive protocols. What followed was not just a confrontation, but a statement. Ryder and Zara, backed by a collection of independent operators Kieran had quietly rallied, would make their stand. The rebellion of the Forgotten was about to begin. The final battle was nothing like traditional warfare. As the Quantum Suppression Council's most advanced tactical units converged on Nexus Point 9, Ryder and Zara prepared a defense that would challenge the very foundations of technological control. Kieran Reeves had worked miracles, assembling a coalition of independent operators, rogue scientists, and frontier survivors who shared a single belief: information should be free. The station's internal systems became their battlefield, a digital and physical warzone where conventional weapons meant nothing. Zara stood at the center of a complex quantum resonance network, her body now seemingly more energy than matter. The research she had been developing wasn't just a communication protocol, it was a fundamental reimagining of how information could exist and travel. They're trying to isolate and contain, Ryder said, monitoring the incoming assault. His exosuit, now thoroughly modified with Zara's quantum technologies, hummed with an otherworldly energy. The first wave of Suppression Council units breached the station's outer defenses. But instead of a traditional firefight, something extraordinary happened. As the tactical units advanced, their systems began to destabilize. Communication networks collapsed. Weapon systems turned against their operators. Zara's quantum resonance was rewriting the very language of technological control. It's not about destruction, she explained to Ryder, her skin pulsing with intricate patterns of silver and blue. It's about liberation. Breaking down the barriers that keep knowledge imprisoned. Kieran's voice crackled through their communication channel. Multiple government channels are going dark. Whatever you're doing, it's working. The battle reached its climax in the station's central hub. The lead operative of the Quantum Suppression Council, a figure known only as Director Vance, confronted Ryder and Zara. You'll destroy everything, Vance warned, his synthesized voice laden with a mixture of fear and respect. The current system maintains order. Ryder's response was immediate. No. It maintains control. Zara stepped forward, her entire being now a living manifestation of her research. Quantum patterns danced around her, rewriting the very fabric of informational exchange. With a gesture, she opened communication channels that had been sealed for generations, revealing suppressed research, hidden communications, forgotten discoveries. The station itself seemed to breathe with newfound freedom. In the aftermath, the victory was more nuanced than a simple defeat of an enemy. They had challenged a system of information control that had existed for generations. The Quantum Suppression Council was not destroyed, but it was fundamentally changed. Weeks later, aboard a modified research vessel, Ryder and Zara charted a course into uncharted space. "What now?" Ryder asked, watching the stars streak by. Zara's skin flickered with a pattern of hope and determination. "Now we explore. Now we discover." The universe opened before them, a canvas of infinite possibilities, no longer constrained by artificial boundaries of knowledge and control. Their journey was just beginning. The underground transit hub was a relic of humanity's early lunar exploration, a forgotten network of tunnels that predated modern space colonization. Ryder and Zara moved carefully, the soft hum of his exosuit's adaptive camouflage system working to mask their presence. "The transmission," Zara whispered, her skin now a muted pattern of grays and blues. "It wasn't what you expected, was it?" Ryder's silence was answer enough. The encrypted message they'd received was fragmented, containing more questions than answers. Coordinates to a research facility that shouldn't exist. References to a project called Stellar Drift that made no sense in any known scientific context. "Your research," Ryder said, breaking the silence, "it's more than just communication technology, isn't it?" Zara's bioluminescent patterns flared, a complex dance of silver and deep blue that suggested both pride and immense burden. "Quantum resonance is just the surface. What I discovered could fundamentally change how we understand information transfer, consciousness, even the nature of reality itself." A distant vibration echoed through the tunnel. The Quantum Suppression Council was still searching, still hunting. Ryder accessed a hidden compartment in his exosuit, revealing a data crystal. "I have contacts. People who might understand what you're working on." The transit hub opened into a larger chamber, clearly part of an abandoned research complex. Holographic terminals flickered with ghost-like displays, remnants of research that had been abruptly terminated. Zara moved to one of the terminals, her fingers, more dexterous than human hands, dancing across the interface. Fragments of data began to coalesce. Quantum entanglement patterns. Communication models that defied current scientific understanding. "They're afraid," she said, her voice distant. "Not just of the technology, but of what it represents." Ryder understood. Scientific breakthroughs had always been met with resistance. Those in power feared anything that could disrupt their carefully constructed systems of control. A proximity alert from Ryder's suit interrupted their moment. Multiple energy signatures approached, fast and coordinated. The Quantum Suppression Council had tracked them. "We need to move," Ryder said, his hand instinctively moving to his plasma rifle. Zara's response was unexpected. Instead of fear, her skin blazed with a pattern of aggressive defiance. "No. We fight." The first breach came through the chamber's eastern wall. Tactical units in stealth armor, their weapons primed for surgical elimination. Ryder had faced countless combat scenarios, but something about these units felt different, more precise, more calculated. "Your research," one of the lead operatives spoke, their voice synthesized and emotionless, "is a threat to established communication protocols." Zara's laugh was sharp, cutting through the tension. "Protocols? You mean control?" What followed was not a traditional firefight. As Ryder provided tactical cover, Zara began manipulating the research hub's systems. Holographic displays transformed into complex quantum interference patterns. The very fabric of information around them began to shift. Ryder realized then that Zara was more than just a researcher. She was a weapon, one designed to challenge the very foundations of how information and communication were understood. The battle for the research hub had begun. And nothing would be the same after this moment.